We are in the middle of redoing our bathroom, and one of the things we really disliked and thought, let's switch this out while we're at it, is that long towel bar that typically gets installed over the bathtub. You know, like this one. We don't like it. It's hard to reach over the bathtub to try to get the towel on there every day. So I want to build something different. It's gonna look different than probably anything you've seen, but it's okay. You don't have to use those standard fixtures. I've for a long time thought that you had to use the standard fixtures, but it's okay. Think outside the box. We're makers. Make something that really fits your needs and happens to look cool too. Let me show you. A project like this is always good to use up some scraps. I am known to keep some scraps, but this will be one time that it is perfect to climb up in here where I keep all of the scraps and find a little piece that will work great for these towel holders. Kind of want to use some ash, and this piece, I don't know, that might be it. Got some cool spalting, got a live edge on it. That one's a contender for sure. Let's see what else we have up here. Zebra wood, don't want to go that exotic. I do have another piece of this cottonwood that I've seen finished out, and it looks really cool. So that might be a good contender. What is this piece? Oh, it's way too big. I don't even know what that is. Cottonwood. Okay. That's too big for what I need. Here's a piece of really curly maple. Thing looks pretty cool. I don't know if the color is quite what we're wanting to go for. It's kind of got this ambrosia maple color to it. I've got this piece of ash back here that I don't really have, another good idea for. That might be a good contender. All right, I wanted to see what these pieces look like in place, and this piece might be perfect. It goes in this spot. I would just resaw it so that one piece goes on this other wall and one goes here. And we've got these little minimalist posts that I want to see if I can put here and it not really hinder the action of the shower door. How cool would that look as an art piece? I like it. The other spot is over here where we took this other towel bar down. We just want something to go kind of here to hang up towels. Curly maple or this cool piece of spalted ash. Well, I messaged my wife and it made my decision easy. She just messaged me back and wants the spalted ash. So this is the one we're going with. Let's get going and cut it in half. That was a nasty cut because that's a very, very dull blade. And it drifted all over the place. Goodness. Hopefully these pieces won't be too thin when I'm done, because I don't know if you can see this. Look how bad that is. It's like, bad. That's all right. Moving on. These turned out nice. Still quite a bit of thickness there. Not bad. Got some good spalting and figure to choose from. That's pretty cool. Just want to see what a radius on this corner will look like. So I'm gonna draw a 7/8 radius. And then maybe on this top one, I'll draw something different. I don't know. I think that's gonna look good. The mirrors that we have are radiused, so I think it'll look good to kind of carry that onto this design. Let's go with the 7/8. I like this one. So we can draw that on all of them. Now I'm gonna use the grinder and put on one of these shaping discs. These have like tungsten carbide teeth on them, and clean up this live edge a little bit before I take it to the sander, just to make a little quicker work of it. I don't like it when the bark is actually left on. Some people like that look. I like going just below that. So I'm gonna keep this organic shape that it has, but I'm going to clean it up a little bit. You could also just use a flat disc for your grinder. That would work just fine. I just continued shaping until I felt it had the look that I wanted it to have. I really tried to follow the form that it already had with the live edge. Then a little bit of sanding, or a lot of sanding, because these pieces had a lot of tear out, and I took them to the laser because I have a laser and I threw my brand on them. It's okay. Now it's finally time to add some finish. I'm really only putting finish on the back side so that it just will not absorb moisture at a different rate than the front. Just getting a coat on all of it. This is just Armor Seal, which is a wiping varnish. It's a wiping polyurethane. And now, without waiting, I'm gonna go ahead and flip these. Beautiful. Love growing rain. I wanted the same rain as well. I was looking cooler. So it has slightly longer than Mr. Raw, and I like it. I got 3 decent coats of Armor Seal on these towel hangers, and they're looking real good. Armor Seal actually only recommends 3 coats, so I'm gonna stop there. I think they've got enough protection and they're looking really good. Let me show you about the hardware. This is the hardware I picked up for these. They're just really simple, kind of modern looking, and I think they will do a good job on this. The black, this matte black, looks really nice with the spalting. You basically take the whole thing apart. See if I can get it back in there. It just screws on, the post screws onto this bolt. So once you take that off, you're able to access the part that you can, the underside, the support that you can screw to your piece. So I'm going to do some layout and mark this out, then hit these and pre-drill. This ash is pretty hard, and then I'm actually probably going to put some wax on the threads of the screws so that I can make sure they don't snap off in here. Then you just put the cap back on like this, and you screw these back on, and you're ready to go. I'm just going to lay out some painter's tape so I can strike a line square with the bottom of the piece here. I'm just going to eyeball this with 2 of them and then use a spring punch, center punch, to mark it. These are pretty inexpensive. They're spring loaded, so they actually just go clink. Sorry, it's starting to storm outside. But you could also use like a $1 ice pick. I've used this for a long time as an awl, and it fits in your hand really well, and you can mark a spot very easily. For sure want to get some paste wax and just dip the screw threads in there. It will help them go in a little easier and not strip out. Just put a little bit on there like this. Yeah, it's working. Doesn't take a whole lot of wax, especially for these tiny screws. Very nice. 1 done, 3 more to go. To hang these things, I'm going to use keyholes in the back, and I'm just going to do 2 vertically, probably somewhere kind of spread apart. That way it has plenty of stability with 2 points of contact. It's not going to want to swivel. I used a piece of tape once I got this centered where it's going to go on the wall to measure where that stud is. So I can actually mount this one in a stud kind of on this side. So I need to get my keyholes lined up with that. And for that, I'm just going to use an edge guide on my router. These come with a lot of modern routers now. This one came with this Milwaukee router, and it's pretty helpful. So I've just been doing some tests here. I have 2 different keyhole bits, so I was trying to figure out which one I wanted to use. And the basic idea, if you're not familiar with it, is it's able to take the head of a screw, you go in there, and then it slots in and holds it. So I'm going to do that in this board. I need to make sure I orient it the right way so it can slot in and go down. I always find it useful to use a scrap to do some tests. First of all, you want to kind of see how deep you need to go to make sure your screw slots in there. But also, if you're doing keyholes horizontally, sometimes you can do that. It doesn't matter which way you do it, because you can put it in there and slide it in as long as you do both keyholes the same way. But when you're doing them vertical, it's important to make sure it's oriented the right way. So with my test piece, this would be my work piece. This is in the wall. It needs to go in, and then gravity is going to want to take the test piece and drop it down. So that's the way it needs to go. I have accidentally done it upside down like this, where you put it in and gravity is going to want to just keep it in that that pull out of the keyhole and it doesn't work. So obviously run some tests, do it to where it's going to slot where it needs to be, and you're not going to mess up your piece. All right, I've got the depth set, I've got the edge guide set, and I've got an old towel down here because the front of these pieces is already finished. So I don't want to mess them up. I'm going to hang the end off of the bench since I've already installed the hooks. Should have probably done this before. Then I'm gonna kind of clamp it here so it won't move around, and I'll reference off of this side and put my 2 keyholes in. Okay, so this needs to go down just like this. So I need to enter and then go to the right. That's kind of the beauty of these newer cordless ones, is they shut off immediately. I put the things onto the towel holder that we would typically use. So this would be my wife's section more than likely. So this is one of her robes and a towel, and then just measured exactly where that piece needed to go on the wall. It was a little higher than I originally thought by the time you make clearance for the towel, but that's okay. That's why these pieces are so custom, is they go with what we use. I don't know how I did that, but I put it on there perfectly plumb by eye. Now I just need to mark these. Simple ice pick. Right on the corner. And then screw them in. Did you hear that pop? That pop is the thing opening on the back side of the drywall, and that's what holds that anchor in place very securely. All right, let's see how I did. See if I can find these holes. May have to put the screws in a little bit more. Yeah, I need to put them in a little bit more because it's not flush with the wall, but it's pretty secure. Screw them in just a little bit. Still got a little wobble. I can go in a hair more. I think I figured out what the issue was. These sit barely proud of the wall, if you can see that. And so when that board slots against here, it's crowned in the middle and it wants to be able to tip either way. And I don't think I can recess these into the wall more without causing a lot of wall damage. And this one's already finished. So I'm just going to go and modify the back of the piece. All right, got that cut down. Didn't want to make a mess in the bedroom, so I'm headed back up there from the workshop, and let's see how this fits. Hopefully it works. Yes, look, doesn't wiggle. It worked. Yes. Awesome. I was planning on putting this one in a stud, but I just missed it off to the left, and that is actually where it's going to be centered on the wall. So rather than move this over and drill into a stud, I went and did the same treatment with using a router and just taking a little bit of material off so that when I put these drywall anchors in there, it will sit just right. There we go. Oh yeah. Yeah, tighten those screws just a little bit. It's got a little play to it. That looks nice. There we go. Darn it, marked up the wall. Yes, it's seated. Now I'm just checking out the operation of it and to see that it doesn't hinder the operation of the door, and it really doesn't. I'm never going to fully open this door, and this door swings both ways, so I can actually pull the door into the shower while I'm in the shower and grab a towel without ever stepping out. These can be used in two different ways. You can hang a towel that's already dry on there on just one post, but if you actually need the towel to dry, you can spread the towel across the two posts, and it makes the towel not be crumpled and can actually dry properly without souring. So that was always the intention all along with these, and I'm glad to see that it works really well for that. And just check out some of these finished beauty shots. That's going to wrap up this project. Just as a reminder, you don't have to use any specific type of thing in your house. Come up with an art piece or something that brings you joy. Make it functional, make it work for you. Bye.